Welcome to the Average Whiskey Drinker channel. I'm your host, Brian. Today I'm going to talk in general about YouTubers, those that promote their channel, talk about rock and roll or whiskey or ideas, and my opinion on it. I think a lot of them have really great things to say. Take, for example, the explosion of bourbon channels that have happened since 2018. You have the original OGs, the Bourbon Junkies. You have Mash and Drum with Jason C. You have SLB. You have It's Bourbon Night, the Bourbon Van, the Bourbon Judge. Those bourbon guys, AJ, you know who you are. And their knowledge and understanding of the craft, of how it's made, and to look at their moving from the beginning to where they're at today is a ginormous step. I mean, look at when they first started their channels. Their channels were kind of like mine, just very simple, nothing great, just a simple light and maybe their phone or a simple camera. And their staging and their influence have grown. Now they're doing barrel picks. Now they're doing in-depth interviews with Nancy Fraley and Dixon Dedman. They're doing all these great things. So I love the channels because they give you tasting notes. They give you insights. Like, for example, I'm drinking the Woodford Reserve Double Oak. So when you smell it, you get that barrel char, you get that light vanilla note, you get the caramel. And it just, most people don't understand. Like when I first started smoking cigars, and I listened to a lot of people like Brian Glenn from Cigar Obsession, who unfortunately is not on YouTube anymore. And I listened to Brian from Bravada. And I listened to David from Blanco Cigars, how they did the tasting notes when you would inhale and it roll it around your mouth, and then take your tongue and plant it to the top, and then exhale for a retrohale, and you get the notes of leather and vanilla and the different notes of cigars. It's the same with bourbon. Your brain trains itself to think, what are these tastes and notes that I'm tasting or smelling? Your brain trains to, like, there's times when I'll have a glass of bourbon. It's a really good one, and it reminds me of a vanilla wafer or a creme brulee or an ice cream sandwich or an ice cream vanilla with chocolate fudge that's melted. There's so many notes that you get with your tongue and your nose, your olfactory senses, and your tongue and the mid palate. So when they say, you get that barrel char, that creaminess, and that vanilla, a little bit of the Kentucky hug, and the tasting notes. And when you as a newbie, as I was during the coronavirus in 2020, when I started watching everybody, your brain goes, oh yeah, I remember that. I know that note. It's right there. Oh, that's what that was. I didn't understand what it was. So that's why I like a lot of the YouTubers. They really helped me through a lot when I was kind of getting into my bourbon experience. They helped me with the notes and the smells and the, well, as my wife would say, too much bourbon. So, and then they started to get monetized, where companies would come in and solicit their products. And there's a lot of other YouTubers out there in whiskey and other things that think they shouldn't do that. My feeling on it, more the merrier. There's a lot of things that a lot of the YouTubers have done that I didn't know about, that I've done and bought and were very gracious to find out about. Perfect example for me is when the Bourbon Junkies introduced the Single Malt Whiskey Society of America. I'd never heard of them. I didn't know who they were, what they did, and was intrigued because Dan and Sean were very into, and I like Scotch. I really do. I like Irish whiskey. And this one here is of Darkness and Light. It's an 18-year-old, and they only made like 164 bottles. Honestly, this is one of the best scotches I've had in a long time. Now, there's a couple other channels out there, Mash and Drum, ADHD Whiskey, Matt Porter, the Bourbon Junkies, even now the Bourbon Judge. And there's a thing called Zbiotics. They talked about how it helped them when they would do their live shows, or if they were going to sample various things where your proof point went from, like, let's just say 100 all the way up to 195. And it helped them with their, so they wouldn't wake up in the morning looking like a zombie. Now, of course, for all of this, I'm not getting paid a dime. But if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't know about it. And honestly, I would say the society for the Scotch, it's number one. You have to check them out. They have unique things and unique flavors. I mean, they have a plethora. They even have like a spot you can go to in their website that'll tell you all the different Scotch flavors. Like me, I like mine juicy and vanilla. I'm not really heavily peated, and I'm not really heavily like dry and light. I like my juicy vanillas, lots of fruits. With the Zbiotics, I wouldn't have known about that, and of course I tried it. I was like, let's see what this is. And I will honestly say, I give 2 thumbs up to this product. It's phenomenal. If you're looking at having that kind of a night where you want to sample several, you don't wake up with that dry mouth, heavy-headed, pulse-pounding feeling in the morning. The other one I want to give a massive shout out to is the Professor Rock, Adam Reeder, with these. Zenni. He's a big proponent of Zenni eyewear on his site. He talks about it all the time. And of course, as you're getting older, as I am, you need to get glasses. Well, when I went to our optometrist and he recommended, here's your script, and this is what I recommend, 1 pair of glasses would have ran me $362. Through Zenni, I've gotten 5 pairs of glasses, 2 pairs of sunglasses for around that price. I mean, that's, to me, is massive savings. So again, I'm going to say to all the people that are poo-pooing on the YouTubers for promoting certain things because they're getting kickbacks, by all means, guys, keep doing it. I mean, if it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't know about any of this. And even they have the new one, a lot of them are doing with the watches. Me, I love watches. So I just have to say that's my opinion. And I'll talk to you next time. One last thing, like I always say, good whiskeys always meant to be shared. Next time, peace out.